So we have the official trailer, the first official trailer, because that teaser that came out during the Super Bowl was in fact just that. And even though this isn't, at least at time of recording, the most viewed piece of media in the history of the entire world, the way that Disney and Marvel were trying to spin that teaser, it's so funny that, goofy math that they were using on that, where yeah, it did have a lot of traction, whatever a view accounts for, on Twitter and then on Instagram, the different places that it ended up getting shared, but then also factoring in the 100 and some odd million eyeballs that ended up watching it via the Super Bowl, but it was only a 30-second clip of the 2-minute long teaser trailer. So it's a little bit of funny math on that one, but here we have the official trailer put out on the Ryan Reynolds channel. Okay, obviously he's doing a lot of the legwork when it comes to the promotion of this, and well, at time of recording, 14.5 million views, given the fact that it only dropped a couple of hours ago, like I said, at time of recording, and it's trending at number 1, meaning that, yeah, 15 million views on a 4.4 million sub channel. That's awfully good. And the interaction, well, you know what? Hey, man, like, all of the numbers seem to be on the up and up, so I don't spot anything untowards when it comes to the promotion and the virality of this trailer. I just think that people are looking forward to this. But I've also found something very, very odd. Very odd when it comes to this trailer, how popular it is, how anticipated this release is in an otherwise barren 2024 when it comes to Hollywood films, is a lot of people are looking for it. A lot of people are obviously watching the trailer, but I don't see a lot of discussion about it. And then also, one of the other big Marvel stories on the day was Tom Holland is talking about working at the ground level for developing a Spider-Man 4, and that's getting more traction later in the day after you start the day with your one big tentpole film getting its first official trailer. Weird timing on that one, but other than, I don't think anybody's really going to be paying much attention to this trailer in about a couple days' time. You'll probably even forget that this came out by the weekend. I think the organic support, not just the people that would normally be talking about this stuff, because they've already made their videos, you've probably already seen their breakdowns, and obviously this is going to be my 2 cents thrown in on it, but I do have some good things to say about it. I also have some bad things to say about it. Overall, I think the positives, it's really cool to see Hugh Jackman back, okay, playing the role of Wolverine. He looks the part, the costume, all of that jazz. He's looking good. We're finally, for the first time in, 25 years, we're getting a proper Wolverine costume. He's got the proper hair. And then a little later in the trailer, you also got him sleeveless, and he is absolutely back on that old quote-unquote workout regimen, because this guy is absolutely blitzed out of his mind. I can smell the test from here. Good on him for putting in the work, because regardless, you can stick that stuff in your arm until your heart's content. But if you don't do the work, it's not going to manifest in gains like that. Like, that's super impressive for a guy that's pushing 50. And yeah, throughout the trailer, okay, I liked his performance, what we seen of him. There's a couple of interesting things that we see of him, but as his performance, playing the straight guy, which is kind of ironic, saying that Hugh Jackman plays a good straight man, but he was the best part about it, okay? There was no real obvious standout wonky CGI. Looks like it's got a chance to rise above a lot of the slop that has come out in the post-Endgame MCU. On to the bad. Now, this is totally subjective, and I won't hold it against you if you don't like me for this take, but all of the jokes that were delivered by Deadpool, okay, the over-reliance on dropping the F-bomb, just the protracted cocaine sequence, name drop, and Kevin Feige. I see a bunch of Marvelisms over the top of it, and no, that's not exactly my cup of tea when it comes to comedy. Not that I shy away from harsh language, it's just that type of stuff doesn't resonate with me, okay? And it's the type of humor that has kind of led everybody to distance themselves from Marvel. So I see some bad things. I see some bad things in the trailer, and the most effusive praise that I see from some of the critics that are out there is, I hope it's good. And so, before we get to the tail end of the trailer when they start to play a Madonna track, and normally Disney and Marvel are pretty good when it comes to reviewing trailers. Normally they don't hit you for anything, but I don't really think that playing a little prayer, full blast with no commentary over the top of it, would end up making it past the YouTube censors unscathed. So we'll play some of it here now that we got past a certain mark where, you know, some of the more vulgar language won't trigger anything. He says fuck a lot. Okay, Deadpool does. But I got some concerns. I definitely have some concerns when it comes to this. So without further ado, let's take a look.
I told you, you're not welcome here. You're not welcome anywhere. Now get the fuck out of my bar.
Just give me one more drink and then I'll leave.
Okay, so it's obvious, yeah, they're setting up now, okay, because in the teaser they didn't show Hugh Jackman at all, and now it's the first recognizable character that you see right there. So there's been some theory craft off the top of this already, but here comes Deadpool sliding in.
Hi, Peanut. I'm gonna need you to come with me right now.
Look, lady, I'm not interested.
All right. Well,
so that's, for me, that's my first red flag. It's like, okay, cool. You just have your little quippy joke. Okay, that's Deadpool. Like I said, doesn't resonate with me, but it's true to the character and it's true to Ryan Reynolds. Deadpool. They don't know each other. And this is all predicated on them being a buddy cop. This means multiverse. And we already knew that from the trailer, or yeah, I'm sorry, from the teaser trailer. It's so stupid the way that they do these staggered releases. You want to promote a movie, get your promotional material out there. We're dealing with, what, one version of Wolverine? Oh, no. We're dealing with a multitude of Wolverines. And the way that Marvel's handled this stuff before, the multiple ways that they've handled the multiverse before, doesn't instill any sort of hope.
well, I'm sort of on the tick-tick, so upsy daisy.
Here we go.
Oh, whiskey dick of the claws. It's quite common in Wolverines over 40.
You don't want this.
Unless you want to take a deep breath through your fucking forehead, I suggest you reconsider.
Yeah, it was about the strong. That was definitely strong because, okay, cool. Yeah, you got Logan, obviously, you know, staring down the barrel of the gun, but then also he's got the adamantium skeleton. So, okay, cool. You go ahead and you put a shot between his eyes. It's not going to do a goddamn thing. Unless, of course, Deadpool has adamantium bullets or vibranium bullets and something that I'm not that aware of. I don't think that they would have set that. Maybe they did set that up in the previous two Deadpool films. Didn't watch them. Don't care for the character, like I said. But this shot right here, pretty good back and forth. Goes off the rails after this, but so far, so good.
Your fucking forehead, I suggest you reconsider.
Yep, leans into it, smiles. That's Wolverine. That's Wolverine. And hey, there he is. He's got the, oh, you can see his silhouette. He's got the hair. He's got the costume. The costume looks good. It doesn't look like a Marvel's type situation where you got these desaturated colors. It's a good look. It's a good look.
I'm about to lose everything that I've ever cared about.
This is more stuff.
Not my fucking problem.
Is that what you said when your world went to shit?
So what do you mean by that? Okay, because you've seen earlier, and we're going to see it again, that there's a couple of allusions to the fact that the world that they're standing in, okay, at least the barren wasteland that they're traversing throughout this trailer, may or may not be the old 20th century Fox Marvel Films universe. I know it sounds incredibly insane. That's multiverses for you in general. Okay, Marvel and Disney, knowing that they really kind of have to nail down what are they going to be doing with these multiverse things? Okay, so if this is going to be the canonical one, this is where they're going to be basing everything off of, well, you better nail it here, I guess.
Come again.
God, it's so weird. It's so weird to see people present and act with emotions that you can just read off of their face without them simply looking back and going, I'm angry. Do you want to say that again? No, you can just deliver it and you can see what they're doing with their face. Great to see. It's great to see.
This Wolverine let down his entire world.
Yeah, and already he just ends up getting bitched out, and that's another version, which is like, okay, cool. That's the big problem with multiverses, right? The moment that there's multiple different iterations of a character, you completely lose the stakes because, okay, that one loses, you can just go grab another one from another universe. It really doesn't much matter. So how are they going to make it matter this time around? That's what I think inquiring minds are asking. Okay.
Want to talk about what's haunting you, or should we wait for a third act flashback?
Go fuck yourself.
So far, Wolverine's good, and I'm not a fan of Deadpool, but he's in character. Gotta appreciate that. It's July, yes, we know. Yeah, la. See, okay, yeah, that's why we got subtitles on. I don't know anything about saving worlds, and then Yeah, but you do. Okay, cool. Yeah, showing flashbacks, and in the background, I'm not entirely sure what any of this stuff really means. Okay, I've stated this before, I watched the old X-Men animated TV show. It's so funny. There was a lot of praise for that reboot, 97, that came out, and I think it's still going on, but I legitimately don't hear anybody talk about that. But then, yeah, also watching just about all, except for the Wolverine and Logan, which I need to get around to watch Logan because I hear nothing but great things about that. But yeah, I've watched just about all of Hugh Jackman's tenure as Wolverine, and like many people, yeah, hold his performance as such in very high regards because he did a very good job with it. So to see him carry on the character that was retired, gave a grand send-off better than half a decade ago, you better nail it this time around. You better have good reason to bring him back other than just, a quick payday and try to resuscitate a dying franchise.
You were an X-Man. You were the X-Man.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, there's a reason that, yeah, it's not Deadpool and Cyclops, Deadpool and, well, hell, he already had a connection, and I know that Deadpool does have a connection with the X-Men in the comics and all that stuff. There's a reason that there's Hugh Jackman standing there and not Colossus carrying on from that continuity, okay? Because he's a very recognizable face, but I think from here, this is where you just end up getting a lot of music, so no, just quippy one-liners, but there you have the payoff of, okay, cool, a lot of TVA agents, and then, oh my god, see, but then there's the 20th Century Fox logo in the background, but who's this character where a lot of Wikipedia wonders are going to come forward and just go, guys, that's Cassandra Nova, she's Professor X's daughter, and you know what that means? No, I don't. I actually don't. But yeah, no, some of the action looks fine, I guess, like, so far is so good. Yeah, the boys are so silly. So okay, cool. So you have a failed Wolverine so far, and you have your villain. I guess she's gonna be the villain. Explicitly saying the boys are silly. Well, she is a villain. Okay, she's gonna be dislikable, hopefully, by the end of the film, and isn't redeemed or isn't just simply misunderstood. But we have some Wikipedia wonders out there, and we'll go through some of the stuff. What could this ultimately mean? But just gonna jump ahead to a couple other points in the trailer because it's just music underneath. And obviously, okay, so there's what Cassandra Nova is coming out of, a hollowed out version of Ant-Man. What exactly does that mean? Okay, well, there are some tie-ins that are out there, and then of course, towards the end of the trailer, you see Doctor Strange portal pop out. Like, there's a lot of intrigue. There's a bunch of keys being jangled, but potentially in the best possible way, because that means that we're finally going to be able to figure out what, just about a decade into this multiverse, multi-phase saga from Marvel. Cool, man. The gleeful questions being asked as Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, the MCU's new Loki. Oh, Lord. Well, first of all, you already have a Loki. I understand that he's a tree at the end of time, but don't evoke that absolutely abysmally written show if you're trying to build on something. Trailers for Deadpool and Wolverine definitely raise more questions than they answer. The plot to the long-awaited third Deadpool movie is still shrouded in mystery, and it's only with the release of the full trailer that we've even gotten a good look at Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. Which Wolverine is this anyway? Yeah, you kind of got to tease. There's already multiple variations of Wolverine, even with the original teaser that aired back in February. Or yeah, you already have a different incarnation of Wolverine. And then you have the one that's dead on the floor. And then you have the one that's fighting Deadpool. So there's a bunch of different ones. And it's probably the biggest question surrounding the new trailer. But I'd like to know what exactly, which plot line, which story are they going to try to adapt here in some form or fashion? Which timeline is this Wolverine being pulled from? The evidence in the new trailer seems to point that this is the post-Days of Future Past pre-Logan version of the character. Well, yeah, he's pretty dead at the end of Logan. Spoilers. We see him mourning the X-Men in front of a series of massive gravestones, suggesting the flashback scene is after the ailing Professor Xavier accidentally killed his students in a psychic attack. It's possible Deadpool and Wolverine will do what Logan didn't and showcase the tragic events rather than simply alluding to it. Do you think they're going to pay that much reverence to a dead franchise? or try to use the star power of these two characters in order to bolster what they're going to be doing with the MCU moving forward. Because with all of the little key jangles over the top of this, with the Ant-Man corpse or carcass or husk being used as a villain's lair, and then the Doctor Strange illusion directly at the end, I think it's going to be more of the latter than the former. Another telltale clue is Logan is having trouble popping his claws. Yes, the version of Wolverine in Logan had similar problems. Yeah, this Wolverine isn't quite as haggard and physically broken as he was in Logan, but he's well on his way, meaning people are thinking that it's going to be adapting the Old Man Logan storyline, which is, I guess, would be kind of a readaptation of what they were doing with Logan, because that movie told the end point to that story. Meanwhile, they're trying to fill in the gaps by also using Deadpool. Like, there's a lot of interesting things that they could end up doing. I think the least offensive thing would be to just simply tie a bow on the Fox Marvel verse and, you know what, just keep this a self-contained story, but don't really think that's going to end up happening. So who's this Cassandra Nova? Who's going to be the ultimate big bad guy over the top of this film? As the tagline suggests here, is this going to end up being the new big bad over the top of this stuff? Oh my god, man. I don't know. I don't care. We have to see if it's a good performance to begin with. Marketing of Deadpool and Wolverine focuses squarely on the two heroes in the title, dragging Hugh Jackman back into the role he's occupied for 2 decades and finally letting him play with Reynolds' beloved take on Deadpool will guarantee fan excitement. Which, yeah, we can see from the numbers. We can see from what? Because I was looking at Google Trends trying to figure it out, and outside of the fact that Monday was Earth Day, or one of those the hokey made up feel-good days on the calendar, the biggest individual search was Deadpool 3, which isn't even the title of the movie, but 100,000 searches within the United States. That's pretty good. It's not Avengers level. It's not quite stand out from there, but the trailer's doing good on YouTube. I guess that's about the most positive thing I can say about it. People are relatively excited for it. Yes, however, they can't spend the whole film's runtime fighting each other. Yeah, because that would be, I don't know, something that people would want. Something has to bring them together. That something will be Emma Corrin as Cassandra Nova. But where will the first MCU's Deadpool antagonist fit alongside her stablemates? The MCU needs fresh blood. Yeah, they're doing this revolutionary thing where they're bringing in a new villain for a film. The existing heroes struggle to carry the weight of the franchise. Yeah, because they've all been written by the same group of hacks. Can't write either new or pre-established characters. It's a marvel unto itself, pun sort of intended. Just their inability to characterize well-established characters with decades of lore to just simply jettison all of that beloved material in order to fast-track all the crap that killed the comic book industry to begin with. It's so amazing. And fans seem excited about exactly 2 Marvel projects. The Fantastic Four, well, is a new take on the beloved comic property with a fascinating cast list. Sure thing. Deadpool and Wolverine is the conclusion of the trilogy, the first test of Disney's willingness to play with their new toys. One of those films will have to save the day. Exactly, because as much as people are looking forward Fantastic Four, if Deadpool and Wolverine doesn't do anything to ferry fans into 2025, is a dead franchise. I think that this, even if it is good, is just going to end up prolonging the inevitable, but hopefully people that are looking forward to this actually get served well by it. The trailer, like I've kind of alluded to, hasn't really done that much for me, but I really hope people enjoy it. I really hope it's good, actually. Okay, so Nova is almost hilariously evil presence in the original comics. She's the evil twin of Charles Xavier. Did I say daughter? My apologies. Okay, so the evil twin of Charles Xavier. Didn't know that was a thing, but alright. When the future professor realized the unquestionable malevolence of his sibling, he eradicated her with his pre-born psychic powers. Okay, nevertheless, Cassandra ejected her consciousness from her mother's... God, this is sounding like some early 2000s bullshit. Just to create another, intergalactic girl boss with Omega level mutant powers. The mental trauma of being destroyed in utero led her to believe that the universe is no different from her original home. She saw herself only as Charles. Saw only herself and Charles as real, prompting her to work to rob Charles of everything else in the universe. Blah, blah, blah. Fantastic. So she's the big evil that doesn't really have that complicated of a backstory, but there's going to be a bunch of posts out there that's just going to go ahead and praise her to the moon and back. And it's going to be one of those things where, okay, for every Marvel film that's come out, it's like clockwork. For Echo, it was a grounded series. For Shang-Chi, it was a triumph. For the Eternals, diversity was literally saving lives. Everything is going to have its spin over the top of it. For Deadpool and Wolverine, it's obviously going to be, oh, Hugh Jackman, he just fits like a hand in glove in that role. And Ryan Reynolds hasn't skipped a beat, but you know what the real standout was in that film? Emma Corrin as Cassandra Nova. She just stole it, and if they need a replacement for Kang, you better believe that she's the one. But as we wrap this up, like I said, the trailer, I watched it. It looks competently made, which is better than you can say about most Marvel projects coming out post 2019. It didn't work for me, but it's obviously working with a lot of people. I don't think it's gonna make $1 billion. I think it'll land somewhere squarely. I'm still firm in my prediction between $700 and $800 million, and that might end up being on the high end. But this is really gonna test the overall temperature of the audience, because there's some normies that are at least interested in seeing a more adult approach to superheroes. We'll just have to see if they're able to carry that into July and then spin that back onto the crap that's going to start leaking out of the Marvel sewage pipe at the beginning of 2025. So best of luck. But unfortunately for Marvel, this isn't the last time we're going to be talking about them this week, because, oh boy, there is quite a bit of news coming out. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.